It is 8:32 a.m. February 25th, 2024. And today is my son's birthday. So, he is 34. So 34 years ago, I was rushed to the hospital 2 months before I was scheduled to deliver. It was very frightening. It was my second pregnancy, and so I started my labor pains, and I was, my husband rushed me to Waukegan because we were living in, what did they used to call Chicago? There's a name for it, and it escapes me now. I lived in base housing in Great Lakes. And, I can't remember the weather. Normally there would, be snow on the ground. But I can't remember the weather. And there's really not much I remember about getting to the hospital. I just remember trying some attempts to try to, delay the delivery, but not really. I do remember Frank's son, the OB, and I really never met him, so this was like an emergency situation, and the first time I met Frank's son was between my legs. He was Japanese. So my legs were hiked up. And I was about to deliver. And, but there was, Seth was trying to come out, but was having some complications coming out. And he kind of got stuck. So, but he was, he was alerting my body. I went out, but he got stuck in the process. So, Frank's son took a pair of forceps to get him unstuck. And, uh, and I was not in any form of anesthesia. Yeah, I didn't have anesthesia or any deadening. We couldn't, because he was, Seth was right there. So, in reality, it was a natural birth, and I had no preparation for it. And then there was forceps involved. So, as far as pain level, that was probably the most pain I experienced in my life. And the only, you're supposed to breathe through it, and the only way I could breathe is to scream bloody murder. Scream bloody murder. So you imagine my screams just echoing down these halls. And I remember my first delivery, a woman in that kind of pain, and I was outside. We were all lined up at this in Galveston because we were we were all lined up to see who was gonna deliver first, uh and ironically the woman that went in first in Galveston, she she died because she she had a bad delivery, and she died in delivery in a training hospital. So maybe in the back of my mind, I felt that way. I I felt I was gonna die in delivery, and but you know I never knew that until the thoughts that I had this morning, thinking about how to come out about cancer to your family members, because you always want to be positive, right? But the reality is, once you get cancer, that's the way you're gonna die. That's the way you're gonna go. There's not there's no there's no more chance of dying from natural causes. You will die with cancer. That's where you're gonna hang out, and the possibilities, even in the fight, is it's more of a focus of quality of life and preparing for a painful death. There's no other way around it. Once you can't beat cancer. I mean, momentarily, but in the end, that's why you're gonna die. And I think that's why people never want to have the diagnosis of cancer, because it is a death sentence. Maybe now, maybe later, but it is a death sentence. So, um, so back 34 years ago, so I didn't die in the delivery, obviously. I felt like it. But but with the forceps, the use of the forceps, it affected uh my son's soft spot, because the doctor had to squeeze his head, so he caused a deformity in order to save his life. So after aftermath, so looking at Seth in an incubator, weak and frail. Looking at him now, not weak and definitely not frail. so Seth came into the world with adversity, and I've never seen a person that he don't care about adversity, because he's gonna kick it in the butt. So he's been doing that for 34 years, and and he's got a daughter. We were just talking about this. He thought when his daughter uh, was coming into the world, he thought she was going to come on his birthday, and and he was like, you know, he was ready to just share a birthday with his daughter. But she had other plans. She wanted her whole birth date. So she came on the 27th. She's like, I'm not sharing my birth date with you, Dad. I love you, but I'm not sharing a birth date. And that's pretty much Ellie in a nutshell. I love you, Dad, but I ain't sharing my birth date. But today, they are celebrating on the same day because it's a Sunday, right? So just this, her 10-year, yeah, she turns 10 today. Good grief. And yeah, she turns she turns 10 today, and I had wiped out. I had wiped out. I could never remember her birthday, and I could never remember uh, what year she was born, because it was the year that my husband died from cancer. So I was a fog because Bill was alive to see um, my son's granddaughter, or it's it's a Ellie was a girl. So Bill drove me up to see her. and and I remember holding her, you know uh yeah, I think we went up in March, weeks. And when you first hold a baby, uh you know they still, when they're that young, they ain't interacting. They're just there. They're just there. And you want them to just identify with you, because I don't know the next time I'm gonna see her again, right? So I wasn't gonna be in her daily life. So I you want that kind of interaction, but she wasn't capable, so you would make it up, right? Oh, she knows who I am. It's like, whatever. She so the grandmother, it's like, oh, she likes me, and any kind of any kind of uh you know uh any kind of ownership, right, in connection, and then getting baby clothes and everything, and of course I didn't come in with new things. I came in with the necessities, Pampers, diapers, necessity. So, but the other, of course, you know, everybody else gave everybody else gave the things that they wanted for the baby, that what they wanted for the baby. I came in with, you know, uh, being a grandmother and knowing what the couple was going to need, you know, for the baby, right? The stuff the expensive stuff, like the practical stuff, right? The stuff that you weren't going to get from social services, uh, being a young couple living in a one bedroom apartment, and it was just a flashback. It's a flashback to my first birth. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope you guys could do this. I'm like, I hope you guys can make it. And man, they are doing so, 10 years later, they are doing so well. I'm like shocked. Completely shocked. Because when I think back, uh wow. When I think back when oh gosh. Oh man, that's like cuts like a knife, right? When I think about when hmm, yeah, when I think about 10, when Seth was 10, I was separated, and that's a year uh Seth himself decided he wanted to live with his dad. Whew, I forgot. I mean, memory's funny. Memories are funny. What we remember and what we conveniently tuck away in order to move forward, right? And we conveniently tuck away the truth in order to say uh, it didn't happen, right? It's not my fault, right? But the reality is, I see that my son is making choices today, and he's having he's having benefits from those choices, and I watched yesterday how him and his wife make choices together. They actually coach each other through just how to unload the car when they're dealing with weight. They coach each other about you got it. You got, like if you're moving a piece of furniture. I mean, and with my first husband and being moving in storage, there was no kind of coaching, between us. Yeah, we just didn't have good communication ever, ever. That's why we always argued, and we always end up in drag out fights because we did not learn how to communicate with each other, and so that pattern has repeated. With Bill, it didn't. Um, Bill was an excellent communicator, and uh, and I give Bill all the credit on that. Yeah, because he coached me. He coached me through many many hard topics, right? And he taught me he taught me how to communicate with my parents and um my daughter, uh my brother, my younger brother. Actually, Bill, before he left this earth, uh then you're kind of thrown to the wolves, right? With him not being there to be mediator anymore. And so yeah. Ooh, I gotta stop, man. because I was trying to figure out what this feeling is, and to wake up, just acknowledging I'm going to have a painful death, to acknowledge that any person that I want close to my life has got to know I'm going to have a painful death. I think that's why I stick close with my family, and why um, it's very important to have people in my life that I'm going to have some good time with. Like, I don't have any room for um, nitpicky stuff, because number one number one need of mine is quality of life, and communication is so important with that. So my biggest need really always was, but now it's a mandate: effective communication, always. And the only way I can do that is be pretty direct, right? But first, I remember my Al-Anon sponsor saying, Louisa, here we practice detachment with love. However, if you can't do that, detach. So I just practice. So I practice a lot of detachment. A lot of it. A lot of detachment. Call me slick. I'm kind of like, my connection points at any minute can just go and go under. And I'm like slick surface, for real. And there are many people that have seen the connection points just go under, like they pop out or they pop in. Yeah, a very new concept in whack-a-mole. And whack-a-mole. Anyway, man, it's like I just want, I don't know what song to convey all of this. I have many, but I'm trying not to get censored. It's kind of hard not to be censored these days on YouTube with my song choices. Anyway, happy Sunday. Happy Sanity Sunday. Peace.